Things change, but Deer Park Natural Spring Water is a constant you can count on, bringing you the essence of home for 150 years and counting. Sourced from carefully selected springs, Deer Park Natural Spring Water has naturally occurring electrolytes for a crisp, refreshing taste. Find Deer Park Natural Spring Water at your favorite local retailer today. After 150 years, there's only one thing left to say. Deer Park, that's still good water.
CeraVe Facial Moisturizers with SPF protect skin against damaging UV rays and continuously deliver 3 essential ceramides to help restore skin's protective barrier so it can lock in moisture. Non-greasy, fragrance-free, and won't clog pores? With CeraVe, skin feels hydrated and looks healthy all day. CeraVe Facial Moisturizers with SPF from the #1 dermatologist recommended facial moisturizer brand.
This episode is brought to you by Michelob Ultra. Every time you kick back with Michelob Ultra, you score big. So why not reward yourself with a nice cold Ultra? As the official beer sponsor of the NBA, enjoy Michelob Ultra at your local Buffalo Wild Wings while rooting for your favorite team during the NBA playoffs. Or pick up Michelob Ultra at your local 7-Eleven store today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Allstate wants to remind fans that mayhem is everywhere. Like when your fantasy league meets up at your house. Everything's great until the hot plate gets too hot for the tablecloth. Now your kitchen's up in smoke. And if you don't have the right home insurance coverage, the cost to fix this is anything but a fantasy. So switch to Allstate, save money, and get protected from mayhem like this. Not available in every state based on coverage selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Savings vary.
American soccer fans, welcome to episode 133 of the USA Soccer Cast. We are bringing you everything about the U.S. national teams, the players, the leagues, and everything else that impacts the game of soccer in these United States. I'm Donald Wine. We have an entire summer of soccer coming to us, and the first matches are right around the corner. The rosters for both the men's national team and the women's national team have been released, and we're going to get a ton of matches over the next couple of weeks. But the first match to kick off the summer of soccer isn't the men's national team or the women's national team. It's not one of the youth teams either. It's the U.S. Deaf Women's National Team. The Deaf Women's National Team will be playing a match against Australia in Denver this Saturday as part of a historic doubleheader with the senior women's national team on the same field at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. That match will be at 2 p.m. Eastern Time and will be televised on True TV. It's the first time an extended national team has been broadcast on TV in a U.S. soccer-controlled match, while Volkswagen's title sponsorship is the first time an ENT match has had a presenting partner. Under international criteria, to be eligible to compete in deaf soccer competitions, players must have an average hearing loss of 55 decibels or more in their best ear. And to say that the U.S. Deaf Women's National Team has been dominant throughout their history is an understatement. They are 37-0-1. That is 37 wins, 0 losses, and 1 draw since they started back in 2005. And the lone draw, I say in air quotes, was actually a win on penalties in the 2022 Deaf Olympics gold medal match against Poland. They have 3 DIFA World Deaf Football Championships. That's in 2012, 2016, and 2023. And gold medals at 4 Deaf Olympics, 2005, 2009, 2013, and 2022. The Deaf W&T operated independently before officially joining U.S. Soccer's extended national team program in 2022. It's really exciting to see the Deaf Women's National Team get this stage. I remember back in 2016, as part of the American Outlaws DC chapter, helping some of the players raise funds so that they can go to the Deaf Football Championships. And it was thrilling to see them go and dominate there and not have to worry as much about the funding and how to get there. Now, they are focused on really taking the program to new heights. I got a chance to speak virtually with Amy Griffin. She is the head coach of the U.S. Deaf Women's National Team and was a goalkeeper on the 91 Women's World Cup team for the United States, which of course won it all. She has over 35 years of coaching experience and has been coaching the Deaf W&T since 2015. She was able to speak on the incredible opportunity facing the deaf women's national team this weekend and life under the U.S. Soccer umbrella. So we will pause here for a quick break, and then we will jump right into that interview with U.S. Deaf Women's National Team head coach, Amy Griffin. You won't want to miss it, so stay right here.
Things change, but Deer Park Natural Spring Water is a constant you can count on, bringing you the essence of home for 150 years and counting. Sourced from carefully selected springs, Deer Park Natural Spring Water has naturally occurring electrolytes for a crisp, refreshing taste. Find Deer Park Natural Spring Water at your favorite local retailer today. After 150 years, there's only one thing left to say. Deer Park, that's still good water.
Want to be more active this summer? Sierra helps you save on everything from swimsuits to stand-up paddleboards, tennis rackets to fishing tackle. And if that doesn't float your boat, we also have pool floats. Sierra, let's get moving. To your local store, like now. Go!
Hey everyone, are you looking for the latest gear for your U.S. national teams, Major League Soccer, the NWSL, or any other team in the world of soccer? The USA SoccerCast has affiliate partnerships that are ready to help you out. Head to linktree.com/USA SoccerCast, where we have links to Homage, Fanatics, the MLS store, and Breaking Team. You can get the jersey, shirt, hat, or accessory you're looking for to support your team, while also saving some money and helping this show in the process. Again, linktree.com/USA SoccerCast. Click on the links and get your gear. And we thank you as always for your support of the show. We are here with U.S. Deaf Women's National Team head coach and 1991 Women's World Cup champion Amy Griffin. The U.S. Deaf Women's National Team are playing Australia on Saturday as part of a historic televised doubleheader with the U.S. Women's National Team. Amy, it's an honor to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So for those people who aren't familiar with the Deaf Women's National Team program, y'all have been dominant throughout your entire existence, unbeaten in 38 matches, winning all of them outright. You had the one that you won on penalties. But what has been the recipe for such success with your team?
I think there are a lot of ingredients that go hand in hand with one another. One, the leadership on this team that has carried sort of the DNA of the hard work, humility, feeling good in pressure situations, and sort of just, we're a team of leaders. So everyone feels like the pressure is on them, and everyone is ready for their moment. Their moment might be 5 minutes. Their moment might be, saving one ball off the end line, or their moment might be a full 90 where they can kind of be the ones in charge of keeping the tempo going. So I really have to hand it to the players. Before U.S. Soccer stepped in with all the support, they sort of towed the line and kept the communication going. There was over a year went by with no coach. They kept talking to the pool of players. They kept growing the game. Anytime they saw a deaf or hard of hearing player, they would reach out to find out, if they would be a person that might be able to join the pool. And thankfully, they sort of just kept the dream alive. And now it's a lot more realistic that the dream can continue in a safe and healthy way.
Well, let's go back to a few years ago. I know, here in DC, we had quite a few members of the team. We're going to Gallaudet University. They were signing up to try and go to the 2016 Deaf Olympics, and we were helping them raise money and raise funds to get them down there because they needed to concentrate on the soccer. Explain some of those challenges that you had pre being enveloped under the U.S. Soccer umbrella. How did that help your team, or how did it, really affect how they were able to train?
So it's crazy the dedication these players had. So this team is really one of the only places where players get to play with other deaf players. But not only are they trying to train and keep their job or their scholastics alive, in order to go to a Deaf Olympics or a Deaf World Championship, they'd have to raise in upwards of $6,000 per event. And they also would have to pay for their camps. So, the coaches, we show up and they've had to organize their flights, and we've had to find fields, and we've had to find someone to donate their time as far as an athletic trainer goes, and do the best we can with absolutely nothing. And so there were there were events we went to with, within 2 years would have 8 days of training. So imagine what that looks like as far as the fitness level and the preparation. These players do have a knack for maximizing the opportunity when we are together. But that's what it was. I mean, by the time the players got to the event, they were exhausted from having to do all the things just to get there. And honestly, our pool of players was fairly small because not everyone could make the event just based on financial reasons, or they were injured, or they hadn't had any opportunities to play elsewhere.
I remember Megan Mywald. I think she's your goalkeeper coach now. She was the captain of the team back then. And I remember when we were trying to help them raise money, she, marveled at the fact that she was able to concentrate for once on just getting her body ready to play, as opposed to all the other extracurriculars and everything else, all the other things you had to do to get down to the events. But you joined the U.S. Soccer umbrella in 2022 officially, and I've always noticed and celebrated the fact that the U.S. Soccer, the Federation, has really increased awareness of all the extended national teams. How has that helped your team not just prepare, but also help expand the player pool, maybe in making it easier to find the next generation of players?
The support of U.S. Soccer and them stepping in has been remarkable in how it's changed the platform of, and it's always been sort of a dream of that we can grow the player pool. So a lot more people are finding out about us, and they're, maybe they're not deaf or hard of hearing, but they know someone who is, and they're saying, hey, before we get maybe 2 new players a year that are reaching out to find out, 1, if they qualify, and 2, if they might be good enough. And now it's probably 2 players a month. And who knows, after this weekend, when we get this platform of, being nationally televised and playing a doubleheader, I think it's going to ramp it up exponentially. So that is awesome. And the staff and players also with the support. The first tournament we had in Malaysia, the games weren't nail biters, right? We had players that were healthy. Our high performance person, handled their off, when the team wasn't together, had some programming to make sure they were both strong and fit. So Joy and I and Megan, the 3 coaches, we weren't trying to do smoke and mirrors and saying, well, this person's not quite fit enough, we're going to have to hide her in this position because we only have this many subs. They were all prepared and ready to go play. And I think the amount of enjoyment that they had playing together, because they didn't have all these other worries, and the amount of focus really showed on the field. It really, really did. And it allowed the coaches to coach and not manage, right? We got to coach soccer because everybody else, the preparation was there. And that's 100% due to the staff that we're allowed to work with and the support.
Adding to that support, you have the National Training Center, which just broke ground a couple of months ago. I know, I'm sure you're very excited about getting into that facility as soon as possible. But one of the major areas of focus in the presentation of the new training center was the fact that there would be resources dedicated to all the extending national teams, training spaces, fields, equipment, etc. How are you and your coaching staff kind of looking forward to that move and preparing for those increased facilities and taking advantage of all that has to offer?
Well, I'm really interested in experiencing it for the first time. We haven't been there yet, but I know that this doesn't happen often enough. Everyone reached out to the players to find out what they needed, right? And nobody asked people that don't have to experience, living in a hearing world. So this facility will be specifically made for them. And I can't tell you how many times we've had training camps elsewhere where just the efficiency of how we move would be improved with the accessibility needed for all the extended national teams. And the fact that we have a place where getting from training to games to practice to the treatment room, and having the accessibility so everyone has the availability to receive the information as quickly as possible. We've never been in that environment yet, right? Mm-hmm. So we've still just been making things work versus having exactly what we need. So I think I'm going to be the one that's learning the most, and the players will be able to relax.
I'm sure it's going to be great, and I know it's opening in a couple of years, and I know for at least a lot of your teams and players, it probably can't come soon enough. But let's look forward to the game on Saturday. It's the first time a U.S. Soccer-controlled extended national team match will be televised. First off, that platform, what does it mean to you and the players to get that stage, a national stage, to play in front of what will hopefully be a packed stadium?
I can't imagine what it's going to be like, but what I am excited about is the fact that these players are so deserving of being seen by a lot of people, everyone, not just deaf and hard of hearing, but everyone should have the ability to see this team. So I'm really excited about that. And I also think, I keep telling people, I remember back when, I think it was 99, even a little bit before then, when the women, you could see the women playing. And all of a sudden at the soccer camps I was working, so many young girls were joining the soccer camps, right? All of a sudden they were coming in droves. I'm like, wow, look at all the girls, where before it was 2 girls for every 18 guys in a group at a soccer camp. And now what I'm hoping is the deaf and hard of hearing community will also say, wow, they have this for me. Where do I sign up? And that's what we need to do, because I talked to you earlier about the leadership of this group. And our team is a team of leaders, but the pool still, based on the number of deaf and hard of hearing people in the country, our pool of soccer players is still very, very small. And if we want to sustain this success and the character and the culture of this team, we need to grow this game. And the best way to do it is going to be on the national platform where people get to see us.
And I'm excited for your team for that, because I know, as a Black person, it's easy to look on the field and see players that look like you and be inspired by how they play, and the younger generation being able to look up to them and have a role model to look for, someone that appears on TV that you don't get that access all the time. And for those of us like myself, I've watched a few of your games on this, the ones that can be streamed, but I'm sure there's people who are turning in that will be watching you play for the first time. Are there any differences in just how the game is played that fans can expect to see?
I think there are differences. And if people were to just walk by for 5 minutes and just kind of glance, I don't think they would be recognized. But if you're a soccer fan and you watch the game a lot and you sit and truly watch the game, you will realize that there are a lot of problems that are easily solved through good communication. And every player, young or old, has heard their coach say what needs to improve, and they all say communication. And communication, in my mind, means that it has to be information that's given and also received. Okay, if I just yell, away, and I'm a keeper, and no one clears the ball, then communication really didn't happen, even though I said something. And so to have that happen on the soccer field when the motion is fast, it's a quick game, to have someone be able to communicate and receive it, it's really, really difficult. And some of the problems can't be solved in the way a hearing person would solve it very easily, right? Drop 5 yards. Okay, I dropped 5 yards and a player flashing in front of me is now marked. It's that easy. So the level of awareness, and for sure the level of patience, which is funny to talk about in a live game, but the fact that things don't go well often. A lot of times someone will come in and take the ball right off your foot because you didn't hear them coming and you didn't have your head up. And the level of, you're okay, just focus on what's next, is probably the environment that I wish everybody in the world could live in. Is, yeah, that ship has already sailed. Let's not worry about that. What can you do? And I think the body language of the players, everyone will be able to see when things aren't perfect, that we're waiting for the next thing to be perfect, for sure. And then, the gestures and the sign language, it happens. It'll happen pretty quickly. So you'll have to sit and sort of watch. You'll be like, oh my God, this is remarkable. How are they able to do that, with receiving so much less information in the way that we would receive it? And then for me, the interesting thing for me is how quiet it is. So I never realized the cadence for me on a game day is the music of the national anthem. It is the hype music on the bus. It is the locker room banter of, everybody getting charged up. And yes, there still is that. It's that, but right before the game, it's just silent. Everyone has their hearing aids out and people are signing or just getting in the zone. And, the first time I was like, oh my gosh, we're just going to get our butts kicked. Because for me, it sounded like we weren't ready. But for the players, that silence is golden.
Adding to that, because I think that's an interesting, kind of blind spot that I have it, and probably you had before you joined the team. As a fan, we love creating noise, and in every other game, it's creating as much noise as possible to show the team that we're behind them. How does that work for the fans that are going to be in the stands? Is cheering help? Does it help the players, or does it affect how they play on the field? I think those are questions that how do we best support this team
with
our support visually and audibly?
That's such a, I think audibly is fine. They can feel it, and many of them can still hear sound as loud as long as it's loud enough. Signs, scarves, this is clapping, all, raising your hands and moving them is clapping. But I think they can feel energy just as much as we all can feel the energy. And again, we can go to a world championship in other parts of the world, and the fan base is still very limited, and the awareness is still very limited. So I really think that this is going to help the world bring deaf soccer to more parts of the world. When they see the quality and the level that these players have, they're going to say, we want that in our country. And if we give them opportunity and we give them access, it can happen.
That's a great answer. Thank you for clarifying that, because I'll make sure at least my friends of the American Outlaws know that they can go ham on Saturday.
Just be as loud and obnoxious as you always are, American Outlaws. They're phenomenal.
I think they're up for the challenge. Yes. Another question I have with this game is, with the record that the program has, I mentioned you guys are unbeaten all time. Does this being on national TV present any added pressure to do well and win in front of this crowd?
I'm certain it will. And these players own the pressure. You can tell every camp, sometimes, the faces turn a little bit gray, and Joy and I are always like, you guys do what you always do. And I remember playing against Poland in the Deaf Olympic final, ended up going to PKs. And I was like, man, that was fun. Because a lot of games are lopsided, and the score discrepancy, we're winning by more than a couple of goals. And I was like, that was for me the most fun game, win or lose. That was fun. And the players were like, we do not like these close games at all. But there have been plenty of games where we have been tied at half. We have started out down a goal. And that's where I think these players, and what I talked about a little bit earlier about their ability to say, we're okay. We are okay. Let's keep going, is kind of how they've grown up. They've grown up deaf people in a hearing world where things haven't gotten well. They've been miscommunicated. Sometimes they've been kicked to the curb or treated like second-class citizens. And they've all felt that. So with each other, imagine how close this team is, where they're like, I've been you. Oh, we're okay. Let's just keep going. And so, yes, the pressure continues to mount. It's unrealistic to think that you should have to win every game, but I think they plan on winning every game for as long as possible. And I sort of am all in for them.
A couple more questions before we get you out of here. If there's one thing that you want new fans tuning in on Saturday, whether they're in the stands or on TV, to take away from this experience, what would that be?
That's a good question. I mean, being asked to coach this team has legitimately been the best blessing I've been given, because I feel like I'm an empathetic person, and I feel like I do an okay job trying to put myself in other people's shoes. But going to a deaf world championship where Joy and I are the only hearing coaches, so we're the only coaches that need an interpreter. We're the ones that have less access, and everyone else is signing. So over the course of 3 weeks, I know what it feels like to have less access or to be treated differently. And I'm hypersensitive now that, it's stressful, it's uncomfortable, it's not as fun, and I'm not getting what I need to succeed. I'm not getting the information from the organizing committee as well as the deaf coaches are, so that I can prepare our team as well as possible. You do that for 3 weeks, you're like, I get it. I thought I got it. You don't know what you don't know. So I would say really lean into this experience. We're lucky that everyone gets to see this team. And for everyone, it is about access, and it is about accessibility, and everyone deserves to have it. And we need to do better in our society to make sure that happens.
Totally agree with everything you just said. To get you out of here, where can people learn more about the Deaf Women's National Team and in your upcoming schedule? Because I know you guys, again, once this is done, we'll have another World Championships to look forward to in Deaf Olympics. Tell us more about where we can learn more about this team.
Well, I know the youth U.S. The U.S. Deaf Soccer Association is sort of starting to grow the youth game now. So we have people that are following up, and every camp we go to, every training camp, we donate our time to do a free clinic for kids after camp. So that's one way where kids can be able to either have the experience to play with other deaf kids, and then we're going to grow the game that way. And then following on the website and following social media and US Soccer's ENT programs. And we're just getting started, right? I feel like US Soccer gave us the bus and we're now all in the seats, and now we're just ready to put our foot on the gas. One other thing to bring up is I know Australia is their program was shut down for quite a few years, and they're just now getting it started. And I think since these conversations started, again, that they were like us a few years ago, where putting a full team together was difficult. And they said, since these conversations about their trip to the US started, they're going home to 60 new people that want to learn more and join the program. So imagine a player pool of barely 18 going to 60 just because of what this experience has given them.
I was going to ask if Australia is going to be televised there as well, so you have kind of a more of a global audience. But I'm sure that this platform is just as big for them as well to be able to play on the national stage. Have you had any conversations with their coaches about this opportunity when it came about, or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, they've been very grateful, and they're like, yes, we have so much, we have so much to learn. We're really excited to play. There was, little to no interest, and now all of a sudden, girls and young women are coming out in droves to learn more about the program, and even other sports. So some of the sports that don't have any programming for deaf kids are joining soccer now, because they're like, well, heck, if I'm playing basketball and I can join this soccer team, I'm going to start learning. So the coaches now are spending time really with they've got a core of players, and some of the players are like, we're going to teach them how to play soccer, and let's get, kick this thing off.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to it for you, Amy Griffin. Thank you so much for being on the USA Soccer Cast. I regret that I can't be there in person on Saturday. I usually like to go to these games, but I can't make it. But I will be watching on TV. Above all, enjoy this moment. I know it's a moment that you all deserve, so I'm really happy for you and the rest of the team. And go get them against Australia.
Thanks very much. There's no other option. We're going to have a great time, and I really do appreciate you covering this. It means a lot.
Absolutely. I really want to thank Amy Griffin for joining me on the show. It is so cool that the Deaf Women's National Team will get this grand stage to play on Saturday on national TV. They deserve it. I hope they go get it and just absolutely destroy Australia. But in the process, I hope they open a lot of doors for so many people. And of course, for those players out there who might be aspiring to be a Deaf Women's National Team player, I hope it opens doors for them as well. We need more access for the extended national teams, and kudos to US Soccer for making this happen. It's the first and hopefully not the last. Everyone tune in to watch. Again, 2 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday on True TV. It's also going to be available on Max and the Telemundo app. So best of luck to the Deaf Women's National Team, and I'm really looking forward to tuning in on Saturday. We're going to be back in your feeds in just a day or so as we preview the upcoming matches for the Senior Women's National Team. We will have another special guest on to discuss what we can expect in the Emma Hayes era. She has officially taken over. And this guest is someone who has followed her time at Chelsea closely. So stay tuned for that towards the end of the week. But that will do it for episode 133 of the USA Soccer Cast. Thank you so much for listening. Remember to follow us on Twitter, and we are on YouTube as well. Find us on both at USA Soccer Cast. Subscribe, rate, and review our episodes. It really helps and is greatly appreciated. Don't forget, we have affiliate programs with a ton of places to get you the gear you love and help you to travel to see your favorite teams play or watch them from the comfort of your home. We have partnerships with Homage, Fanatics, Kit Bag, ESPN Plus, Fubo TV, Paramount Plus, Hilton, Marriott, United, and so much more. And we have our stimulus store. My jerseys just came in, and I'm ready for the summer of soccer. Y'all should get on that as well. Head to our Linktree, linktree.com/USA Soccercast to learn more. Click the links to all of these sites and support the show in the process. We will talk to you again real soon, y'all. Peace.